We are live. We are live. We are live. MOP. Microphone check. MOP. Microphone check. We live. We live. We live. We live. We live. Through the YouTube waves. I got my man Rand from Down the Wire. Rand, how are you, man? Thanks for
Hey,
being
what's
here.
going on, Mario? MOP, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you having me today, man.
That's great, man. We have Rand here. Obviously, welcome to everybody that's going to be watching this live, and we'll watch it later. It's a great day today. As we were talking behind the scenes, it was a great week. A lot of trades. The NBA trade line. It was over yesterday at 3 p.m. Right, 3 p.m. Eastern
3
time.
p.m. Eastern time, and it was a crazy, crazy week. There was a lot of headlines going on, so it was not a lot of sleep had this week. It was all on Twitter, on YouTube, on Instagram, looking at the trades, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, we were all looking to watching Shams and Watch
Yeah,
Twitter accounts, looking for their notifications, and it was crazy, man. We got a lot of great trades, starting with obviously the Kyrie situation and KD in Brooklyn, and Westbrook obviously with the Lakers. So we're gonna start the topic for today. Once again, man, Rand, thanks for being here, man. Um,
thanks for
the
having me, man.
trade deadline, winners and losers. Oh, we were also talking about behind the scenes that 28 of the 30 teams made a deal, some type of deal, as you always obviously mentioned the Raptors situation. What do you think about the Cavs and the Bulls not making any moves?
As far as the Cavs go, I'm not too worried about them not making a move because they had good pieces already and they're doing pretty good. I think they're a little underachieving. I think because they had little injuries, when Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell had injuries as well as suspicion he had going on. So I think they're good, but the Chicago Bulls, I'm not sure what they're thinking. They definitely need to do something because they are not doing good and they're kind of in the turmoil because they have a high salary cap. They're paying already, so they should have either sold some guys away or brought some more help in.
Yeah, obviously two almost opposite situation. The Cavs are doing good. They have a young team. The other side, the Bulls have quote unquote like an old team with the Rosen. Lavinis is still young but inconsistent. But as
Mhm.
you said, man, to me, it's not a great, not much great of a deal that the Cavs didn't make a deal. They have a young team. They have Donovan Mitchell. He's been balling lately. They have Mobley, Jared Allen. He's been going crazy with the dunks,
Yeah,
obviously lately, and I agree with you, man. The Bulls need to assess some some parts of their team, like maybe the point guard position. I don't know. What's your opinion about Lonzo Ball and the whole injury situation with
man,
his knee, right?
that's really crazy because they first came out and said he was doing better, and then said he's still having pain. They don't know where it's coming from. So I would, if I'm the Bulls, I would bank on him not being back this season. And they're linked to we're going to talk about a little later here, Russell Westbrook in the buyout market. So
Yeah.
we'll see. They should definitely make some buyout moves and go somewhere for a point guard. It wasn't much out there for a point guard to be had in the trade market. They could have did something though.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with the Bulls. Um, and obviously the Eastern Conference that lost two key pieces to the conference like KD and Kyrie. So we're gonna be talking about that later. Um, Losers and winners for you, man. Dran, what would be a winner for you in this trade deadline?
Winner for me, obviously is the Phoenix Suns and I think the Los
For
Angeles
sure.
Lakers are two huge winners for me. I think they both got a lot better. For me, especially with the Lakers, getting rid of Westbrook, bringing back some shooting. We talked about a little bit off air, getting younger, getting better defensively with Jared Vanderbilt. I like the moves they made as a team.
Yeah. We need to maybe give some credit to Rob Pelinka. A lot of people have been down on him
Yeah,
for not dealing the two picks that they have. They only made one. They did one pick,
one of the
right?
first round. Yeah, one of the first round picks got moved in this
To
three
Utah.
team trade. Yeah, they got moved to Utah. Utah has like 17 picks, 17 first round picks, which is crazy. Danny Ainge is doing a great job, man.
Yeah, they got a lot of first round picks like the Thunder.
Yeah, Yep.
Like the
Same thing with
Thunder.
OKC. Same thing with
Yeah,
OKC.
yeah, yeah. In Utah, I like Walker Kessler. I think Minnesota let go a great piece right there.
He just I like him a lot.
He's a great defensive player. He has some size, and obviously he's been playing great for Utah. I got him on my fantasy team, so he's
Oh,
been
he's killing
balling.
for you then. He's balling for you then. Fantasy for
Yeah,
sure, getting blocks, getting a lot of rebounds. He kills it
he's
with
been doing
blocks.
a lot of damage.
He kills it with blocks, man. He kills it.
Yeah, and he's very obviously young, so they can. He's a piece to rebuild around him.
Definitely,
So
definitely.
to me, I have to agree, man. The biggest winner is the Phoenix Suns getting KD, also getting T.J. Warren.
Yeah,
That's crazy. And
that's a great pickup. He's a microwave off the bench.
yeah, he's a six man coming off the bench. He's a great player of obviously playing his role.
Hmm.
But on the other side, losers. Which team would you say was a loser during this trade deadline?
Losers. We talked about it a little bit earlier. I think Chicago Bulls are a big loser.
Yep.
Not getting rid of somebody or bringing somebody in. They should have either got rid of Vucevic, I think, or maybe even Zach LaVine or DeMar DeRozan. One of those, two of those three guys, I think should have got moved. They're in a bad spot right now where they're kind of in a tweener spot where they're not good enough to be a championship team or not even like a high playoff team, but they're not bad enough to even get a good lottery pick. So, like, what are they doing? You know?
Yeah, obviously, Zach LaVine was linked with the New York Knicks. If I'm not
Yeah,
mis-
I heard that. I was like, whoa, that'll be a good pickup for them. You know?
Yeah, that would be nice for the New York team,
Yeah.
and obviously in Chicago they got Billy Donovan, so he
Yep.
was a former coach of Russell Westbrook, right?
Yep. Yep.
So that's a nice transition. We can go to Russell Westbrook, man. Him finally being he was a headache for a lot of people in the organization, in the team. There was a lot of reports coming out lately that were calling him a vampire, which is crazy. Brian Windhorst going off on ESPN saying that Russ was killing them.
Russ was killing them.
Uh,
He was killing them.
it was, and he was talking with a lot of passion. So we know that Brian
Yeah.
Whitehurst does his job. What do you think about Westbrook getting moved? Do you think that it was a matter of time him leaving the Lakers?
Yeah, I think it definitely was a matter of time. It was definitely overdue. I think he definitely needed to be moved. I think more so if not just for the play on the court. Of course, he wasn't fitting on the court well with LeBron and AD at all. But off the court, contract wise, he was going to be dead money come this offseason. He was going to be a free agent. I don't think we wanted to re-sign him, so it's going to be $47 million off the books. So the only way he was going to have us stuck. I'm a Laker fan, so I'm saying us. He's going to have us stuck if you would have had to sign him back to a big deal. So I think it was great that we got to move him. We got players back that we can re-sign and use that cap space, and we have their bird rights to re-sign. To go over the caps. To keep those players, we want to keep D'Angelo Russell per se. So, but as far as them calling him all those things, man, I think that's ridiculous. They are really coming at his personal, his character. Honestly, they're coming at his character. I don't think that's fair at all. If you want to talk about his game on the court, that's one thing. But to come out and say, unless you have hardcore facts, which they didn't speak any hardcore facts, or speak to any kind of situations that we know of or that we can account to, that he was doing bad character things in the locker room. So for them saying that about him, I think that was totally uncalled for, personally.
Yeah, it was kind of similar to what the Brooklyn fans and the New York media did to Kyrie, right? Calling him
Very
a
similar.
headache. It was crazy.
Yeah, very similar. Just very negative. Just very just like they were just out to get Russ, man, the whole time he was there. And of course, like I said, play on the court was one thing, but coming at his character was something totally different, man.
That's a great point, man. You can criticize his game, saying that he shoot a lot of bricks, but you can go against his character, man. And obviously, he's a very proud man. So Russ ain't gonna. It was gonna. He wasn't gonna take that shit lightly. So
Ah,
I'm
no.
glad. I'm glad he's out of there. He's his own man. He's not kissing it, not anybody's butt. So we'll see what happens with Russ. Obviously, he will get his contract buyout from Utah. So we'll see what happens with Russ.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, he gets to go somewhere else and help a team. Hey, what's going
Salute,
on, brother?
salute, salute.
Laker fan here. Come on in, man. Come on in.
We got the nation. We got the nation here. I got my man Jeremiah from the State of My Grass podcast. Man, Jeremiah, how you
Good.
doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. What's going on with y'all? We had a big trade deadline yesterday. I wasn't expecting that many moves, but I'm gonna let y'all get back into it.
That was crazy,
Yeah,
man. It was
it
crazy.
was crazy. It was crazy. Well, Jeremiah, I got a question for you.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hold on. I got a comment here. Jorge, he's a great supporter of the channel, man. Greetings. Given that the Lakers added a lot of players to their roster, could it be a problem to adjust them to their system? I think they will be more dangerous next year. My man Jeremiah, that's a perfect question for you. You
Oh,
obviously
I love
have
it.
a Lakers background. You got Mamba there. I'm Team Kobe every time. So, what would be your answer to this question?
My answer is, I mean, okay, so the Lakers every season, right? We see them have a complete turnover of their roster. Like a lot of the guys that's there this season weren't there last season or even the year before. Like every year, it's almost like a turnstile. Like we lose so many players every season. I mean, and it's just I don't think like chemistry is going to be a problem because these guys are NBA players. I feel like I mean they understand how to play the game of basketball, but like playing together, just recognizing the talents of the other people. I think it might not be a problem just because the guys coming in are like there to fit a role. They're not there to like completely change stuff. Like we had problems with perimeter D and 3-point shooting. I don't think that's something that you necessarily need. I mean, I take it back. That is something you necessarily need. I don't think that's something that should take long to get acclimated with, like getting open shots and stuff like that. I don't really think the Lakers run too much of a complicated offense. There's a lot of screens, a lot of like one player ball domination. So I don't think that would be too difficult, especially with a guy like D'Lo, who is an isolation basketball player, can get the shots he wants, can shoot the three, can get into the paint. So I don't really think that might hinder him or hurt him. And plus, he just came from playing with in Minnesota, and those guys pretty much do the same thing they do there. They're top heavy with Ant and Cat and Rudy. So I don't really think it should be a problem, but I would like to see the Lakers bring these guys back so we can get some more chemistry and build an actual team. Because we, like I said, like we always like for the last 3 seasons, we've turned in a different roster each season. How many guys were there last year that are here now? Austin Reeves, Gabriel, LeBron, AD. Am I missing anybody?
Pretty much it, bro. And Russ, but he's gone now. But that
Yeah,
was
that's the
we
that's the
need him to be there. We need him to be there. We want him gone. You know?
was the only returner. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
not even gonna be bad. Like, did the Lakers really get a chemistry together this season? That can be argued, but I don't really think the Lakers lose much by adding new players to a new system.
Yeah, and obviously we know that Westbrook accepted his role coming off the bench.
Mhm.
The Lakers obviously got Mo Bamba, they got D'Lo, they got Hachimura before this past trade deadline. They got I got him here, Vanderbilt, and obviously Malik Beasley. So 5 players to add to the rotation. That's like a third of a new team. As you
Mhm.
mentioned, that's a great point, man. It didn't work last year with all players. This year has not worked so far with young players. But as we were talking before with Ryan, do you think that maybe we need to give some credit to Rob Pelinka? A lot of people have
I
been
think
down on him.
Yeah, you know what? You know what? I think the praise got to be as loud as the disrespect because every Laker fan was like, "Yo, like, who is this man? Like, what's going on? Like, why hasn't he made a move yet?" And I really commend Rob for standing on his 10 toes and saying, I'm not just gonna give you guys our picks in Westbrook. That's not happening. He stood. All 29 of the teams kept saying that's the only way you were getting rid of Westbrook, and he found a way to get rid of Westbrook without mortgaging the complete future. So
Very
yes,
creative.
Rob definitely deserves some praise because
Facts.
we're gonna be
Facts.
just as loud as when he's not doing work. So we need to be just as loud when he puts in the work.
That's facts, man. It's facts.
Yeah, that's a fact. Rand, we were saying that Russell Westbrook, and I think we all agree that his time in Laker Nation was totally overdue. It was just a matter of time him leaving. What do you think about the other trade? KD and Kyrie. Kyrie obviously went to the Mavs, and KD went to the Suns. So what do you think about maybe the whole Brooklyn situation, the whole Brooklyn debacle?
Yeah, you said it right. The whole Brooklyn debacle, like you said, we talked a little bit off here before we hopped on live. Man, it was the all-time biggest failure in NBA history as far as superstar talent put together on a roster. They didn't play many games together. Yeah, that's due to injury and also due to other off court issues. But I think it goes to show, those guys, all are kind of unpredictable. Also goes to show how bad the culture in Brooklyn is, man. I think people are going to blame KD, Kyrie, and James Harden, of course, because it's fun to do on Twitter. It's fun to make jokes. It's all fun and games. But you look at it, you gotta look at the whole Brooklyn Nets organization. They came in and let these two guys take over. If you're an organization, you cannot. I don't care who you're getting coming in free agent. You can't let these guys come in and just have the keys to the organization. You can't let that happen.
I will
I
say
think that killed it.
cut you off, but like
But
even before this season, like Brooklyn has been in some like turmoil just
for
for
years,
at least the last like what 10 years,
decade, the last decade.
Yeah. Paul Pierce and KG, they gave up Brooke Lopez for D'Angelo Russell. I thought they should have built with D'Angelo Russell. Didn't happen. Ended up letting them go. He got to the Warriors, but Brooklyn just in general has not been like a model NBA franchise just for years now. Even back when they were in New Jersey, they just have not. They get the talent because they're a big market, but just Brooklyn in general
always mess it up.
Able to produce like sizable results. It's kind of funny. It's laughable. Like you look at the Thunder, who can compile draft picks, put together a good team, and they still like compete relatively. But like the Nets, it's no way you have all three of those guys and get swept. Like couldn't even win a single game in a playoff series. KD was a foot away from going to the finals possibly, but if ifs were fifths, we all be drunk. But
yeah, man, they just terrible, man. It's terrible debacle, and the organization is terrible. They went through several different owners through this whole decade as well. It just goes to show how I don't know if they're cursed or what's going on there, but it's just a bad situation. I would not want to be a free agent. I would not sign in Brooklyn if I was a free agent.
Oh yeah,
that's a great point. They're going to be struggling mightily when it comes to signing free agents there in Brooklyn. Obviously, in my opinion, they were quote unquote assaulted. They were brought before us, as Jeremiah mentioned, when they traded for Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce. Those pick then became Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So to me, I can't criticize what they did.
That hurts, man. That hurts.
That's crazy, man.
You see those guys going to the finals now. Y'all, trading away superstars still. It's like, damn.
And they swept you. That's great. That's the craziest thing.
It's crazy.
So KD went to the Suns and Kyrie went to the Mavs. My man Rand, who do you think has a better chance to win a championship? Kyrie with the Mavs or KD with the Suns?
I think it's definitely KD with the Suns, just based off talent alone, off paper. They didn't give up. They gave up a lot to get KD, but relative to what they have on the roster, they still have a lot. They definitely lost some depth, but I think they have more pieces than Kyrie and Luka has in Dallas.
The same question for you, Jeremiah. What do you think, man?
So my brother, I don't know if you guys watch, but my brother, my podcast mate, he's a big time Suns fan. Like he's his KD to the Suns all summer long. We laughed at him all summer long.
And look at y'all now, man.
He bought in the KD all year long.
Called it.
He called it. I called him the night KD got traded, and I was like, yo, like it finally came to fruition. But the thing with the Suns is like, okay, Chris Paul has been a liability no matter where he's played at.
He's washed
the last 10 years. No matter what it's been, he gets hurt, doesn't show up. Chris Paul might be the glue that holds that together, but like Devin Booker, I don't really see him as like a team leader. He might grow into that. I don't really see that from him. Nope. KD is probably just there to get buckets and score. But the good thing I say with the Suns, where they really won this trade, is that KD got years left on that contract. So even if it doesn't go right this season, they still can reload next season and try to go back. But between the two, I think I hate to say it, but if it was between the Mavs and the Suns, I think the Suns have the advantage. They just, even though they gave away Mike Hale and Cam, who are their defensive stalwarts on that team, I still think they still have a great chance of possibly making a deep run in the West. But I don't want to say championship because y'all see my background. But they have a better chance than the Mavs. The Mavs, Luka, I don't really see them going too far because they lost depth when they traded away Dinwiddie, who's pretty much was like the Jalen Brunson last season. I don't really think, like, I feel like they're gonna have some drop off. Like Kyrie's unpredictable. Like we all know it. We all see the stories all the time. You never know what you're gonna get from him. You can get a 50-point game one night and then he'd be absent for 2 weeks. So I feel like it's way more uncertainty in Dallas than it is in Phoenix. Phoenix, they got an established culture. Monty Williams has been coaching there a minute. I think out of the better two, Phoenix might have won the battle between the two. And it's funny too because they both got sent to the West to teams that are possibly going to play each other in the playoffs. So that's going to be wild when
So
we can
yeah,
watch.
to get seed teams. I don't understand. Dallas, they just basically got a shinier version of Jalen Brunson and Spencer Dinwiddie. Like Kyrie's a shinier version. Like he's way better, but he's gonna do the same thing that those guys did, just at a higher level, way higher level.
And my thing too, coming down the stretch for the Mavs, like late game situations, are you gonna have the ball in Luka's hand or Kyrie's hand? And either one of those guys is capable of taking the last shot, getting you a good possession for trying to win the game, trying to close out the game. So I'm curious to see how that comes into fruition. But honestly, I think Phoenix has the slight edge.
Yeah, and they obviously need health to be on their side, as you mentioned. CP0, I call him CP0 rings. Come on, man, that plant-based shit ain't working, man.
Hey,
he's
I
getting
love
old. He's getting
love
old.
the CP slander.
He deserves it. He deserves it for
He
real.
washed, man. He's washed.
Blowing 3-point leads. Come
Overrated.
on, man. It's crazy.
Most overrated point guard in the history.
I got a question for you, Jeremiah. Let's start with you.
Okay.
This is the topic, man. Black representation in NBA front office. We were talking behind before we went live with Ran. I was trying to connect some points on some dots. Let's talk about KD and Kyrie, but when it comes to their GMs when they were playing, obviously they are still playing, but in the past, KD he had Sam Presti in OKC, then he had Bob Myers, and now in Brooklyn he had Sean Marks.
Yeah. Oh, was it not
Sean Marks?
Sean Marks.
Yeah, Sean Marks. Then Kyrie, he started with David Griffin. He went to the Celtics. It was Danny Ainge. Then he went to the Nets. And it was obviously Sean Marks. Kyrie mentioned that he didn't know anyone in the front office. And obviously, as we were talking before we went live, it's very different having a black coach, quote unquote, than having people that looks like you, obviously, in the front office. And in this case, obviously, KD went to the Phoenix Suns. They got James Jones there. And Kyrie went to the Dallas Mavericks. They got Nico Harrison. He's a former Nike executive. He has a deep relationship with Kyrie, even though Kyrie is not a Nike athlete anymore. But what do you think is the importance of having black representation in NBA front office, maybe when it comes to signing this type of great players?
So my thing is, I think sometimes we all forget that the NBA is a business. Like each team is pretty much a company run by, pretty much like a Fortune 500 company or any other type of company. And it's usually, I wouldn't say nepotism, but you really got to know somebody to get in the front. Like realistically, if you had to ask me, like, how would you apply for an NBA front office job? I'd be bewildered. I don't know. How do you do it? Like, I know how you could become a coach, a trainer, a team doctor, but like to get into an NBA front office, how is that process?
Even for those jobs,
I'm saying like
a lot of nepotism, right?
Yeah.
Nepotism. I understand the importance of having black representation in the front offices, but like just from my understanding, like I feel like there's a roadblock, a disconnection between the point of entry and working in those offices, and a lot of times too, I see like I feel that black people who get in these jobs, their lease is a little bit shorter than other people's who get in these jobs. For years, the Lakers, we had Mitch Kupchak. No matter how bad the team was, no matter how many bad contracts there was, Mitch stayed in the front office for a long time. And the minute he got out, he went to go with the Hornets. Like it's hard. Like I don't really know too many NBA GMs that are black, so I should do some research on that. But I just feel like
with the Raptors, maybe
you got Masai Ujiri, James Jones.
I forgot to mention him.
It's a few out there. It's a few, but they're definitely not a lot. I think you're seeing some of it change these days, and I think it's very, very important. But I think you see some change where you see some of these black guys are being successful now. Like you saw Masai Ujiri, he's one of the best ones in the league now. Same thing with James Jones. So I think as you see more black people get opportunities and be successful, you'll see more owners start giving more chances, and also you'll see, like you said, it's all nepotism. So once a person of color gets in those higher power, higher seats, they'll hire, black people under them as well. So you have the coaches tree, like you got coaches tree, like Pop got trees, Sir Kirk got trees. So you'll get trees from like black guys too that hopefully be other young black people who get jobs elsewhere too.
I still think the NBA is in its infancy, and having more ethnic representation in the league. Just a few seasons ago, we were all like concerned about having black coaches on the floor. Like the majority of the NBA, it's not hard to see is black players.
Mm-hmm.
So, and usually, black players might feel comfortable having a black coach or a black coaching staff or other coaches on that roster that just sort of get them and understand, where they come from, how they think. And I think that's important too. Having someone that has similar thoughts as you, a similar experience, it just helps you become the best version of you. But like I said, I feel like even when black people do get these jobs in front office, their lease is a lot shorter than anybody else. Like I know we talk about the NBA, but I feel like the NFL, like some coaches,
with the Ronnie rule, right?
It's like the Ronnie rule. You have to establish a rule just to interview coaches, just to even
check
get
the box.
Ball, right?
They checking the box at that point.
And I would rather, a guy get in there just off what he's done, his resume, than just because of the color of his skin or who he knows. I would rather have the best person for the job, whether they be black or wherever they come from. I would just rather have the best person for the job. But if the best person for the job happens to be black, I feel like there shouldn't be like, oh, he's black, you should give him the job. We should highly promote this. Like, I feel like he should get treated like anyone else who's in the job.
Yeah.
I don't really discriminate against like coaches or anything like that. Whatever your resume is, whatever you've shown you can do, that's what you can do. Especially in the league where it's what have you done for me lately, not what have you done for me in the past. So I don't really like mind who's running the team, but as long as they take a conscious effort to step back and look at reality, like, hey, I'm managing over 15 black basketball players or however many you have on the team. Like, I need to take into account like what percentage of my staff looks like these guys. Where's the reflection in the league in the front office?
My
man Rand, what's your take on this topic?
Nah, same thing, man. It's definitely important. It helps be more comfortable. You see somebody come in and looks like you, like someone that relates to your situation that you're going through in life every day too. Even if they're young black rich men, you still get some of the same treatment that other black people get throughout America. So it's definitely important. And like I was saying earlier, I think you will start to see more, as you start seeing some of these black representatives that are in these jobs right now be successful and have their offspring of their people that have hired under them get chances, and hopefully do a good job. Hopefully we'll see more.
Yeah, that's a fact. Those were great answers. Once again, thanks for both of you all for being here. Here, I got a friend of mine, Damien. He's saying, "Aguante Mario, no entiendo." He's saying that he doesn't understand shit because he doesn't know English.
Well, hey, hopefully Mario can dub this and put it in Spanish for y'all, man. So y'all can
he's
enjoy
saying,
it.
ask them whether they think Dallas or Suns gonna win. I think you already answered that. Ellos creen que van a ganar Suns. The Suns are more of favorites to win maybe the West, and obviously they're a better team, a more complete team than the Dallas Mavericks. We didn't even mention DeAndre Ayton. He's like a solid center, so we'll see what happens. Jorge, he's saying, off-topic question, if I may, what's the deal with Charlotte? They have been mediocre for as long as I can remember. What do they expect?
Good question, man.
What do you think about that?
They are mediocre. They're always mediocre. Jordan,
man,
not a
worst
very good
GM.
evaluation of talent. They need help. Free Melo. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
it's funny. The Hornets, like, they went from the Bobcats. Like, the Bobcats were just a terrible team, man. Like, they went from the Bobcats, tried to erase that memory from everybody's mind. No, we didn't forget. Y'all went 9-71. Was it 9-71?
Something like that.
Wow.
I forgot that year they lost 70 games, but
70 games. Damn.
Yeah, they're that bad. They're that bad. They had the ugly uniforms in the league, man. Ugly uniforms.
I mean, like, I don't really see like Charlotte being a big like when free agency comes around, nobody wants to go to Charlotte. Nobody's taking meetings in Charlotte. They don't really produce like a solid product on the floor. Like the year when they went to the playoffs, I want to say they were 41-41, but then they got routed in the play-in.
Dusted in the play-in.
And it's just hard. It's just hard. Like, it's just hard for people to gather around that. I mean, Charlotte has like rich sports culture. They got the Panthers. They got the Hornets. They have the teams there. But I mean, it's just I feel like the market is just bad. Like I live in Sacramento. Like a lot of Kings fans here are like they're devout Kings fans. Like it's not much to do in Sacramento but go to a Kings game during
Having a
season.
great year too.
And watching the beam.
And like those are I can't stand that beam. But man, like those fans, those like Sacramento Kings fans are some diehard like fans. Like they're real fans of this team because they don't have much going. And to see them back in the playoffs after being out for 8 or they're gonna make the playoffs. I'm just gonna say that
They are third, right, in the West.
They better. If they don't make the playoffs, it's a debacle.
To see them back in the playoffs, you know, it just feels good for the city because they've supported this team for a long time. Like I play a lot of pickup basketball. No matter where you go in Sac, you're gonna see the Kings logo on somebody's basketball court.
That's what's up,
You're
man.
at the YMCA, at a park, or wherever. Like the Kings have a real big.
We got connection, man. I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio. You know, y'all, we the old Southern Ground Sacramento Kings, Cincinnati Royals. You know what I'm saying? So shout out Sacramento, man. Even though you ain't a fan of the, I'm a Laker fan as well. So, but shout out Sacramento Kings and Sacramento, man. That's what's up. That's
I mean, like the Kings, they finally got it together. Like they finally they made that trade for Sabonis, and it just turned them all the way around.
Worked perfectly, right?
Perfectly. It was a perfect swap. I don't see like the Hornets making anything like that, pulling themselves out of mediocrity like that, unless Melo just becomes like a superstar. Like I feel like the Hornets are they might be too far away. Like they don't have a culture. Like for years, I would say the Lakers didn't have a culture. Like if you watch the Hornets, like what do they do best? Like what makes
run? All they do is run.
And like I wouldn't. That's more like a system, like a culture. Like you come here, like you have to play hard. You got to do this. You got to do that.
They have none of that going on down there. I watched a lot of Hornets.
They don't even sell tickets,
Melo
man.
fans. They don't have anything going on down there, man. So I'm not sure what they need. They need some more guys for sure. They need some more guys. It hurts them not having Miles Bridges. You can't forget that. He's been out all season with his issue he has going on. Crazy.
Yeah, we completely forgot about Miles Bridges, right?
Yeah,
After
so that plays a factor into that, you know. But if they had him, they still wouldn't be that much better. Let's keep it real.
Like if you guys listen to the stories of people who played for like the Bobcats / Hornets organization, they always come back to saying MJ did this, MJ does that. Like it's
Jackson, right? Steven Jackson.
Yeah, he said Michael Jordan came on the court and just dusted off everybody else. Like
the second unit, like Jimmy.
Yeah.
Would you really want to go somewhere where Michael Jordan is liable to pop out anytime and tell you you suck?
And bust your ass. I'm my prime. It's 50 years old. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, I don't want to hear all that. So they got some building to do. MJ might I appreciate him owning the team. That's some more black representation in the front office, but you got to do something with the team, man. You got to do something.
Yeah, I think he's the only black owner, but that's a great point. Obviously, we should give a lot of credit to Michael Jordan for busting the ass, but that also says that the franchise is going nowhere.
Right.
I'm great that you mentioned the Sacramento Kings, man. They got De'Aaron Fox in the All-Star game, even though as a reserve, but whatever. They Siakam also went to the All-Star game, and the Anthony Edwards. So I'm glad that Sacramento has 2 All-Stars. With Sabonis, they traded Sabonis for Haliburton. That trade worked perfectly for both sides. So that's great. The last question that I got for you guys here. We've seen we saw 2 weeks ago that Phoenix was getting a new owner. Obviously, we saw what happened with Robert Sarver, the whole situation. It was a disaster. He was a cheap owner. He was criticized mostly for being cheap, not wanting to pay the luxury tax, and obviously Ishbia, if I'm not mistaken, he was a former Michigan State player with Tom Izzo. And he's the new owner of the Suns. He was granted a special permission to make some type of trades, and he obviously is willing to spend in the luxury tax. He's obviously willing to spend money in the team in order to win, in order to get over the hump. They went to the finals against the Bucks. They were up 2-0, and then they got smoked by the best player in the league, Giannis. So. My question to you guys is the following. Jeremiah, we have seen that the Warriors won the championship. They paid a huge amount of money in the luxury tax, even though the Clippers is the team that spends the most when it comes to the luxury team. Kawhi has a great team. In my opinion, this is the last year that he has to do something with the Clippers. But my question to you is: do you think that teams nowadays need to have like a quote unquote million or a billionaire having a lot of money in order to compete to win a championship? We saw the Clippers, the Warriors, and maybe the Phoenix Suns. What's your take on that?
So I'm not sure if y'all watch baseball. I'm actually a big Dodger fan too. So in baseball,
They
right?
going crazy.
You
They
got
going
the
Mhm.
crazy.
Dodgers, yeah, you got the Dodgers, and you
Yeah,
got
the Yankees.
The
Spend
A's,
money.
who don't put a dollar into their stadium. They don't put a dollar into their team, and they expect people to still show up and get in those seats. And you got the Dodgers, however, who will upgrade the stadium, put the best roster forward, put the best coaching staff forward, and they'll go all in to win. Like I'm not really understanding cheap owners. I understand like that's their money, like that's their fortune. Like so you can lose money if you know those ideas don't pan out. Kind of like Brooklyn with Josiah, like he mortgaged not mortgaged his future, but put a lot of money forth to try to make this team the best in the NBA, and obviously they came up short because they're going back to rebuild. But I have no sympathy for cheap owners. If you're in the sports world, you should be here to win. You shouldn't be here just to sell merchandise and tickets. Like if you're in it, you should be in it to win. You should be here to appease your fans. Because at the end of the day, the fans are the ones who make this machine go. If we don't watch the game, we don't report, we don't do videos, we don't go support and talk about this. Like you guys have no money. Like your industry is gone. So I feel like fans should always be appreciated, even if you go out there and sign lower tier guys. Like put forth an effort and at least trying to win the game, trying to be successful with your team. So I actually don't mind the Suns having a owner who's willing to spend, because like my brother, he was telling me before. I think the Suns were saying like Sarver had to sign off on any deal or any trade that was over like $10 million, and that was just going to keep
Yeah.
the
That's the
Suns.
reason they're digging KD in the summertime, because he wouldn't sign off on the Mikal Bridges.
Yeah, Robert Sarver was really not willing to. He was like, I mean, and if you know, like the Lakers put the Suns out of the playoffs in 2010, and they didn't make it back again until 2020. Like they were in turmoil for the last 10 years.
Decade.
They had the same owner. They pretty much, like they weren't spending money. They couldn't get free agents to land. So, and then on top of that, like being cheap doesn't help your case either. Because even when the Lakers were in a bad state, like they were still willing to go out there and spend money on Luol Deng and Timofey Mozgov to show like, hey, we're committed to winning. We want to at least try to put forth the effort to put together a good product on the floor. So I have no sympathy for cheap owners, man.
Rand, what do you think? What do you think? Obviously, you being a Laker fan, the
Yeah,
Lakers.
I'm a Laker
Jeannie
fan.
Buss doesn't have the money that
She got to spend.
Mr. Ballmer has, right?
Nah, she ain't. Nah, we ain't that rich. We ain't that rich. But nah, same thing. Kind of like Jeremiah said, man. You gotta spend money. I live in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm not a Bengals fan, but I do root for the Bengals now. You know, hometown team. You got Joe Burrow. You gotta pay that, man. You gotta pay T. Higgins. You gotta pay if you want to be good. You gotta pay these people. So same thing goes with in basketball. You want to be good, you gotta be willing to go over the cap and pay the luxury tax. If it costs to keep you, especially if you draft the good guys, you got to pay to go over the cap to keep those guys. If you got a chance to bring in a superstar and you got the money to do it, you got to bring the guy in, man.
And that's
so
that's
I'm
just
all
like,
for it.
because like like we all understand like championship windows and stuff like that. Like you got to be all in if your team is ready to go all in. Like owner has to have some type of buy-in. Like we see the Cowboys, Jerry Jones just be unwilling to do certain things, like stepping down from the front office so his team could level up. I hate the Cowboys. I'll get in that later, but
Me too. Don't worry. I'm a Chiefs fan, so I'm excited for
Chiefs
Sunday.
yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
You got to end the stream, brother.
I'm from the Chiefs Kingdom, man.
Nah, that's
Mahomes,
what's up, though, man.
Kelsey, Andy Reid. We're going for it, man.
We're gonna beat y'all on Sunday, brother. We got you guys.
Damn, you're rooting for the Birds?
I'm trying to find my jersey, man. My Jalen Hurts jersey. Yes,
Wow, he's
Birds.
gonna be hurt, man. He's gonna be hurt on Sunday, man.
I grew up in LA. We ain't have the Raiders, Chargers, Rams, none of that. So I had free reigns to pick whatever team I wanted. But yeah, no sympathy for cheap owners. I would rather you be all in with your team, trying to spend, trying to make them better, trying to put the best product forward. I'm not with the reservationism.
And obviously, success brings you more money. So that's
spend
a
money, make money.
great phrase, man. No sympathy for cheap owners. So I don't want to take advantage of your time, guys. It was great having you both here. My man, Brand, where can people find you?
You can follow me everywhere. You can follow me at FlymanRand everywhere, Twitter, Instagram. Follow the podcast, Down to the Wire 513. You You can follow us, subscribe to us on YouTube, man. Make sure y'all mess with us. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers, man. We're trying to get monetized. Subscribe to us, y'all. Come on.
For sure.
That's the deal, man. So
Appreciate it.
go watch and subscribe to the Down the Wire podcast. And I got my man Rand today in the building. Jeremiah, where can people find you, man?
We on YouTube. Check us out. The Stay Off My Grass podcast. We cover the Lakers and the Suns. We're also on Twitter with just the Stay Off My Grass pod. You can follow me. It's just call me Jay. No T, Juss. Call me Jay. Appreciate having you on, man. Love talking hoops. I'm glad I got to do this with you. I know we was planning this for a minute. Glad it got to come to fruition. So it's actually glad meeting you guys first time, man.
Yeah, man.
It was great, man. It was great. It was an honor to have you both here. So it was a great time, man. Hopefully people can enjoy it.
There you go.
Damn, the Eagles.
Don't hurt them. Yeah, I'm going all in.
We're gonna be watching, man. We're gonna be watching. So we'll see what happens.
I'm coming
Super
for
Bowl
you
on Sunday.
Yes, we will.
Great guest. Great work as always, Mario. Thanks, Jorge. I really appreciate you, man, your support. So and thank you guys for being here, man. So that was all for today. Until next time, this was the MOP podcast, the Mario Berandi podcast here with my man Ron and my man Jeremiah. Thanks, man.
No problem,
I really appreciate you being here.
Have a good one, man.
Salud.